or ask you to. Good morning and welcome to the 21st in our Shift, Sustain, and Succeed series. We have shifted, and at least for a while, we thought we were sustaining, some days better than others. It's hard to see success on the other side of COVID, but we are the chamber, and we've seen resilience in our business community, and we are ready to be part of helping the community plan for a better future. So we are officially moved into the Succeed portion of the webinar series to better help you connect to the people and the information that you need. Today's guest is Beverly Rapp from the Northwest Rapid Response Coordinator and the Workforce Development Analyst for the PA Department of Labor and Industry. Bev is working from home these days, but her office is in Erie, in the Erie Career Link. As things continue to change, please remember that what we share today is based on the information that we have available today. We will do our very best to bring you updated current information as things change. And I know Bev's going to tell us that she is living in a very changing world as kind of policies and benefits change. If you have additional questions we don't get to, be sure and submit them in the Zoom chat. We'll do our best to either address them at the end of the call or to follow up after the call. So with that, Bev, good morning. It's great to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you too. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, we were dealing with some technology issues this morning, so we're especially glad that we got all our video working and everything's good. And just not to take a minute from our call, but we have some heavy duty drilling going on outside of our office today. So I hope that you're not hearing it. I've got myself closed in. So Bev, can you tell us a little bit about what the Rapid Response Team is and what the work is that you're doing with businesses right now?
Sure. The Rapid Response Unit is part of Department of Labor and Industries services that offer to businesses. We work with businesses during their business cycle, whether you're in a layoff mode or in a hiring mode. We're able to coordinate services across different agencies and be able to help you with a lot of different things that you might not even be aware of. I always call Rapid Response the best kept secret in labor and industry. Right now, we're working with a lot of businesses who are going through a lot of changes due to COVID and trying to figure out how can we best work with their business to keep them afloat. If they do have to lay off folks, we help them with outplacement. So Rapid Response is pretty known for dealing with layoffs and outplacement services, but what we're not known for is what we help with layoff aversion and how we work in coordination with a bunch of different partners. So in a nutshell, Rapid Response is there to help businesses no matter where you are on your business cycle. So please feel free to reach out with us. We're a statewide agency that has 12 Rapid Response Unit staff that are available in your region to help you.
Great. Well, you know, as you're working with businesses in that cycle, can you tell us a little bit about what the employment landscape looks like in Venango County in Northwestern Pennsylvania right now? I mean, we hear these numbers of their, you know, high unemployment, then we hear that people can't find people. What is kind of the state of things at the moment?
Venango County has always been a flexible county. We have hardworking individuals who are there to figure out what do I need to do next. Same with their businesses. So what we do is we're able to work with businesses, linking them with different resources. Now, a lot of the employers who are trying to keep their skilled workers who may be going on a downflux due to some COVID or supply issues, what I'm able to do is once we come in the door, we have actually Venango created a statewide program just recently called the COVID Recovery Program. And it's a program in conjunction with Labor and Industry, working with your Industry Resource Center, the IRC, and also the Steel Valley Authority. We basically work in conjunction, not just those three agencies, but those three are your three arms that get out there, making sure the business finds out about the program, because half the time, most of the businesses don't even realize these services exist. We're able to sit down with the business, figure out how we can help them best, and bring in the resources from all the different entities and different partners through economic development. And that was created right in Venango County. Businesses are trying to learn how to be flexible in this new landscape. So what can we do and what resources do we have to bring them? That's really the key, working through the partnerships and being able to bring all the different experts in and work with those businesses individually.
And Beverly, this wasn't in our kind of prearranged questions, but I'm curious, do you find that sometimes you work with a business that you actually learn from and are able to share some of what they're doing right with other businesses that you work with?
Honestly, that is what's working. That is what's working best. And finding out what is working with those businesses and how it can go across the different industries. You know, something might work really well in a restaurant, and something that they came up with that actually might transfer over to a manufacturing environment, or vice versa. We've actually held some town hall meetings, and being able to talk to individual businesses and finding out what their needs are. We're here to help. We always don't know the best way to help. Listening to experts and listening to what other businesses are doing. And that's what working with a statewide unit like Rapid Response. Something might be working really well on the eastern side of the state that one of my coworkers find out about, and I'm glad to bring that here to Venango County or the Northwest region. So yeah, absolutely.
I think sometimes we have a tendency to cluster businesses around their industry, and forgetting that there is a lot of transferable. And just one more add-on question. So have you ever found an opportunity to introduce two businesses you're working with to each other to have an opportunity to
absolutely
work together, develop a relationship?
Absolutely. Those relationships really are what are keeping businesses afloat. Sometimes businesses right in your backyard don't even know how you can help each other, even within your supply chain issues. That's what I've found. A lot of the companies I'm working with are having a supply chain issue. And I just remember talking to a business the other day in another county. So I give them a call. How are you doing that? I link those two businesses together. Great. It's really the business to business. I am no expert in anything. I know a little bit about a lot of things. So what I do is I rely on experts to help each other, because that's really how we're going to get through this and moving forward.
That's great to hear, because I think we all want to know that somebody's doing that out there, but sometimes we don't know who it is, and it's great to know that you are one of the team of people that are, and great to know we can reach out to you. Without focusing too much on the past, I think you have some experience with unemployment, and we know that the unemployment process has been a little bit mucked up in the last few months. It's unprecedented, the amount of people who are quickly applying. So can you give us any update on, if it's caught up with everyone, and if not, like what's going on? What are you hearing about the status of those who need unemployment right now?
The most important thing people can do when they're applying for unemployment is truly take the time to read through what questions are being asked. There's wonderful videos. If one thing has happened with COVID, is there's a lot more videos available on how to do things, or did you know, or frequently asked questions. I will take, when we're working with companies who are going through a layoff, Rapid Response actually will have meetings with the folks prior to the layoff or recently right after the layoff, so we can explain the unemployment situation to them, how to apply, step by step how to do that. But those folks who don't have Rapid Response, who are being laid off, they go onto the system and they sometimes get overwhelmed. And the best thing I can tell folks is to read through, answer each question. If you don't know the answer, take the time to watch the videos or read the frequently asked questions. A lot of it has been confusion because people didn't fill in things completely. So most of the time we're noticing it's basically step by step. I can tell you most of the employers who are laying off right now, or who are going through rolling layoffs back and forth, what we do is we make sure that people know how to apply. Using the proper employer's FEIN number is real key, because that expedites things. So there's services that Rapid Response can help with, working in partnership with unemployment, which is through the Labor and Industry Bureau. Also, our bureaus work together to help businesses behind the scenes. So if an employer is having some issues with layoffs and things going back and forth, please feel free to reach out to one of us and my unit.
Great. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people are trying to call unemployment, and with little success, but if they're a little more patient and kind of watch the information out there, you think that that's
yes, there's online chat that you can do also, and emailing. Sometimes all you need to go back in is go into look to your dashboard, make sure all the fields are filled out correctly, and then make sure that goes through, and keep an eye on your dashboard. If something's not moving through, you can then email the IT resource, or excuse me, the UC resource account that can help with that. I know people are actually getting through to UC by email a little bit quicker than they are by phone, because what happens is people use those automatic dialers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the automatic dialers are just constantly causing the system to be held up. So getting through is hard. Also thinking about calling on off times. First thing Monday morning is probably not the best time. There are staff working through different hours. So maybe off time might work for you. but try the email system. We've been very good at having people get answers pretty quickly on that.
Good. And I hate to even put you on the spot with this, but any sense of what's planned next? I mean, things are a little up in the air.
I have a crystal ball behind me that I use. No, truly, the legislation that's coming out, depending on what you read, and is constantly changing. I can tell you that the best place to find your information is right on the UC page itself or right on Labor and Industries homepage, and we can give out those links. But truly, I'm hearing they want something. It's trying to figure out where the money's coming from. Yeah. And that's really what's happening right now.
Yeah,
we haven't heard one way or another.
Yeah, it sounds like some extensions are for sure. We know that. But if there's additional monies, what we reviewed with the State Chamber last week, the HEROES Act and there are a bunch. So depending on which one, you've got an extra 200, 300, 400, you know. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll encourage people to just watch the website. And then I think you've covered really for those that are struggling to find answers, email, the chat. If they're a business particularly, you can help them. So what do employers need to know as they prepare? If they already have a relationship with you, they kind of know you can help them through this. But if we're talking to people who are struggling and don't know you, what should we be telling them?
I tell people, just give me a call. If it's something that I can't help you directly with, I will get you in touch with somebody who can. Rapid response really works across with chambers in our regions, with industry resource folks, with other business entities. And what we do is we try to figure out how can we help you best. Each business, you know, you might make widget X. It doesn't mean the same that the same company that makes widget X over here is the same. We know each business has individual needs. When it comes to workforce, contacting the Career Link, working with them, trying to figure out how they can help you with your recruitment needs, because I know a lot of businesses right now are struggling to find skilled workers. Yeah. I'm working with businesses right now who might be laying off skilled workers. So I work in conjunction with the Career Link to help those workforce, the people being laid off, working with the Career Link, trying to get them back into work. Great. Because right now people are struggling to figure out what is my next step. I can tell you the best thing they can do is reach out to your Career Link, make sure you're working with them, make sure you post your jobs, because when I have skilled workforce, that's the first place they go. Right.
And I think, you know, we definitely have a lot of people out there that are, you know, they've relied on the unemployment. That's worked as a great stopgap for them. But we can't forget that there are families, particularly people that need health benefits. They need things that they just can't afford to lose, because not every employer is carrying those other benefits through the layoffs. Is that true? In some cases they are, and some they don't know if they're going to get called back. So they're
right. I can tell you each business, we have to figure out what works for them best financially, whether it's to lay off somebody permanently, to lay off somebody temporarily, or doing even some rolling layoffs. And that's something that we can help you with. Now, I can sit down and show different options, what other businesses have done, working with your plan administrator, you know, making sure that you know the different options. A lot of businesses might not even be aware of what's called a shared work program. It's a program where people can still stay on your payroll, and it's through a UC system. Rapid Response can help get you in touch with the folks that we can set that up for you. There's a lot of pieces to all these puzzles that most businesses who are just doing their thing, making widgets, creating service delivery, whatever it is that they're doing, they don't realize that there's a different assistance out there. One thing I can do, like I said, if you reach out to me, I am your regional representative for Venango in the Northwest region. Feel free to reach out to me and say, Bev, how do I do this? Or what can I do about this? And what I'll do is I'll point you in the right direction. You have great resources in Venango County. Like I said, the agencies all work together. In fact, if anything that COVID has done is it's really realized how we have to work better together to help businesses. Because if we can keep businesses going, that's how we get workforce back working.
Right, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of those partnerships here in a bit. A couple questions following that up. Do you work with any size of business, and do you work with nonprofits? Are there any limitations of who can work with you? Any business. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. That's really good to know, because I think we have some really small shops that and lots of businesses that don't have HR professionals in their wheelhouse or on staff. We do have a lot of businesses that do. Do you find that some of those HR people will reach out to you as well? Because things are different than they have been in their past, right?
Totally different. A lot of HR people, because of it's literally they read an email, the law changes. They read another email, same thing with us. What we can do is try to make sure that you know where to go to find out the correct answers, to make sure that you get the best resources and the right answers. Especially, like you said, we're videotaping this. The law could change tomorrow, and hopefully we will find out some more things. Being an HR professional or someone who works in a small shop that has many different hats, it doesn't matter. It's a lot of confusion and a lot of information out there. What we do in Rapid Response is we get you into the hands of the right people who are those experts, whether when you have questions about the different types of loan programs, PPP, EIDL. We use a lot of TLAs and FLAs, 3-letter acronyms and 4-letter acronyms. It's a whole different language. Hopefully my best skill, I think, is translating it into your language. So
Right.
hopefully something I can do to help the business, if it's even getting them into the right person to talk to when you have questions.
Great. Yeah, I think we still have some days ahead that we're going to have to figure out the PPP and the EIDL. Boy, we were wrapping ourselves all around it in the beginning, trying to talk to all the people that knew everything. And I talked to one of our bankers yesterday and said, so, where are you? Are you still accepting? What are you doing? And she said, well, we're not so much, but now we're trying to shift into the how do we get forgiveness. And honestly, it doesn't sound like they know the rules yet on that. They know the original rules, but so that's going to impact the workforce and employment, right? As employers have to meet certain criteria.
Absolutely. So I know a lot of smaller businesses that I've been working with. And when I say small, it could be 3 to 5 people. I mean, it's a small business. They're the ones who, like you said, don't have the HR person. Or the best thing you can do if you're looking at those PPP and EIDLs, get a real good relationship with your banker, but also look at all these different workshops that your chamber has and other organizations have. We have a lot of different resources out there. I'm the type of person, I'm kind of like a sponge. I try to bring in information from a bunch of different places and then figure out what's the best way to move forward with giving that information very easily in little small bites to businesses, because it is overwhelming and it is changing. It's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So I can tell you the best thing you can do is continue to network with different agencies like the chambers and your local banking industries. Just trying to keep your head above water. But if something that I can do in my unit, would be glad to help you. We have 12 of us across the state. We all are experts in different things. But what I can do is reach out to my coworkers also and bring in their resources.
Great.
So it's not just me working in the Northwest. You have all the folks in Rapid Response across the state being able to help folks in Venango.
Great. I see that I had another quick question on unemployment. I'll just throw this out to you though. So there a lot of people have been unemployed and they do need the benefits of unemployment. Are there any lessons that you've seen or learned on how people are careful about what they do to not jeopardize their benefits? I mean, I know there are rules, but anything that you see that's happening that's like, you really need to be careful and do the right things.
Well, if you're an individual who's laid off, I mean, the goal is to get back to work. Right. And truly, you don't want to take this as a vacation to sit back and, do the landscaping and the roofing and things like that. Really, this is the time to figure out what skill sets can I absorb at this time, and what ways can I look at the way the shifting landscape is, and how do I align my transferable skills, my knowledge, skills, and abilities to figure out what that next job is. Because if you sit back and wait for someone to call you, you're going to be out. And we don't know when the money's right now, the extra 600 is not there. Trying to look for that next job. If you need help, make sure you reach out to the Career Link, but be very careful when you're just sitting back waiting for someone to call you. This is the time to maybe figure out what it is I want to do next. What is that next job going to look like? What do I want in that next employer? What skill sets do I have that I can offer to that employer? And what am I learning during this whole time of COVID? I mean, I'm doing a lot of online classes myself and trying to figure out how to use technology better. My job has totally shifted. Mine was all face-to-face, handshakes, rooms of people. So anything you can do to show that you're willing to learn and willing to basically get into that next job and what your skill sets are to sell yourself, that's what you can be doing right now. Sitting back and waiting is probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, and we know why that. I mean, it makes sense that there's so many unknowns that it's the natural course for people to just kind of be taking a deep breath and trying to figure it out. But I've thought that for several months. I mean, there's probably in at least in theory, if not in practice, there couldn't be a better time to be thinking about exploring a new job, because there will be opportunities that you may not have had a shot at before, as people are looking
Absolutely.
for, particularly problem solvers. Bev, I know in your world, you talk about this a lot too, but the chamber has really stepped into working with educators around career readiness. And so I have them right on my wall here, communication, work ethic, teamwork, tactfulness and manners, critical thinking and problem solving, understanding supervision. Boy, if you can prove out that you have any or all of those skills, it may not even matter about the rest. That, your future employer may be happy to send you to school or do the training or whatever, but really showing off that skill set could be the ticket to a really great future in your work life.
And a lot of people, I work with dislocated workers who've worked at X company for many years, and they don't realize when they go in an interview, the most important thing they can tell themselves or tell that employer about themselves is those what we call soft skills, or they assume everybody shows up to work well and works well with other people and is able to learn new things and work well within teams. And like you said, communicate and effectively work together. That's something that we really need to let our people who are losing their jobs know. You have those skill sets. You've been working for many years. How you communicate those to the businesses in an interview. Mm-hmm. Go down the career link, call them. They do a lot of things like this, one-on-one over the internet or by Skype, or they have workshops that are online that you can attend to learn how to sell yourself, talk about the skill sets that you have, because there are a lot of great workers. I mean, my husband's from Venango County. He grew up on a farm. He could fix anything. His jobs have used so many different of his skills all throughout his life. Being able to tell somebody about that is sometimes the hardest thing for folks. But if that's something that's a learnable skill, and being able to sell yourself during an interview is key when you're looking for that next great job. This could be the best time to reinvent yourself. Businesses are doing it right now.
Yeah, as I look across our attendees, we have kind of a combination of some young professionals and at least a couple of us that are more seasoned. I see Betsy out there, and I think Betsy and I would both be able to testify that we were in a leadership program 15 years ago and probably wouldn't have imagined that we would be leading in the way we're required to now. I was an introvert, believe it or not, as a kid and a high school student, but those are skills that you really can hone and put to use. So I would encourage others to think about that. Well, let's take, we've got a few minutes left here. So let's talk a little bit about what we've learned about working cooperatively across organizations before and after the pandemic. You made mention of some of the groups you work with. So I'd love for you to tell us more about who you're working with, how that's worked, and how it's maybe changed or I'm going to assume improved through the pandemic.
Rapid Response has always worked with many different agencies. We've never just put it down to paper and pencil. And I can tell you, right here in Venango County, Susan Howman from your Northwest IRC and Deb Lutz, who's from Steel Valley Authority, have really been able to show what their entities and their agencies do and how they work really well with all these different agencies that people might not even realize are out there. They created a program called the COVID Recovery Program. And I'll tell you, being able to get into the business, they really look at all the different aspects of business. I'm the workforce leg, and I can help businesses with workforce. But it's not just workforce. There's also economic development things. There's also finance. There's also how does your supply chain work? So this program is able to go in and look at all the different pieces in that holistic picture. And then they're able to bring in the entities like Venango Chamber and the Workforce Board and the Career Link, or whatever pieces or whatever agency that needs, they're able to bring that in and they're able to show outcomes that are very positive. A lot of the businesses who've been working with them didn't even realize there was this assistance out there. So this is the time to reach out. You can reach even myself, reach out to the chamber itself. We all work together. Mm-hmm. I think COVID has made us work together better, It really has. It really made us rely on each other better. And the communication, I think it's probably the best I've seen in many years. You're in a really good region. You have great resources right in your backyard that you might not even know exist.
Yeah, and I think as we've used technology, we can complain about it some, but people are more accessible, that we can grab someone for even just a few minutes to chat, whether it's from across the state or across the country or right here in our region. There's really great opportunities. I did change our slide, so those of you that are listening know that we always put some resources up there. So Bev, if there's anything we've talked about or you think would be great for those who are watching this to be able to refer to, we'll add those up to our website under the recording. And I'll change to the very last slide, which is Bev's contact information. So I'd encourage you to take that down and keep it handy so that you can get a hold of Bev if you need to. And I want to thank you for it. You've made several plugs there for the NWIRC supply chain, the work they do around supply chain. And we have partnered with them to bring a free opportunity for a webinar on August 27th and September 3rd, I believe, are the two dates. They are both in the morning. They're a couple hours each. You can go out and register on the NWIRC site. And I think we may have a link from our event page as well. David Carroll, who is an expert on supply chain, you would pay thousands of dollars to see David present at any kind of a conference typically, but he is offering his services free to talk to businesses of all sizes about supply chain. This will probably be most applicable to manufacturing, small and large manufacturing, but we had him on one of these sessions and talked about how supply chain affects all of us. If we can't get the things we need to do, to run our business, whether you're a small grocer or a nonprofit that carries something that you can't get, it's something we can all be concerned about, and how we control our inventory and such. So I hope that everyone will take that information, pass it along, and invite people to join David, and the NWIRC for the supply chain workshop that's coming up. I do want to kind of share with those listening on the call that I think we're going to take another little break from Shift, Sustain, Succeed for a little bit. We can see that our attendance is dropping off a bit. And I think, again, that's maybe due to the weather, maybe due to a little bit of Zoom fatigue. But I think this will give us an opportunity as a chamber to really think about where we can bring you valuable sessions. We'd love your input. We have some ideas, and some of them are a matter of timing. We know that we should be talking with educators. Now is not the best time to call up your local educator and say, hey, you want to talk about what's going on? But we hope that in a few weeks to a month, we can get some good information about what they're up against and how they're dealing with what they're dealing with. I think there's some opportunity for us to talk about the challenges with broadband and what some of the solutions that our communities are going to be working on as we, use the CARES Act money, which is another whole topic, CARES Act money and how that's getting used by our communities, by our businesses. So as you can hear, we have ideas for topics, but a lot of this goes around finding the right people to talk with us, having the right timing to bring good information. So if you have a topic that you think that we should be covering, we'd love to have you join us. Bev, any parting comments from you? Anything we didn't cover or that you'd like to remind us of?
No, I know it's going to be challenging. You mentioned education, childcare, and this might be an opportunity for someone who's thinking about, I'm thinking about starting a small business. Childcare is definitely needed, and with what's going on, make sure you reach out to your chamber, look at all the different resources that are available. Right now is an opportune time to figure out what it is that you want to do next, whether you're a small business or a person looking for work. And I wish you all well. Please make sure you reach out to me if you have any questions, and I thank you for having me today.
Well, thank you. Again, everybody, this is recorded and on our website if you'd like to watch after the fact or share with anyone. Keep in touch with us here at the Chamber. We're here to help you, and wish you all a great day. Hope it's quieter in your world than it is in mine today. But thanks so much. Enjoy. See ya.